hope your ship is well. That only Jolly Roger has been through hell. Yo ho, on an adventure we go. In the heated digital high seas, we travel with ease until we reach the outer edge and freeze. The Arctic chill like a very speed mill through the darkness led by our will. Yo ho, on an adventure we go. Truly on the outer limits of society, broadcasting the reality. The pirates will always steal the show. From WPRPN, you know. Yo ho, on an adventure we go. Dark our vessels in the Skullport Harbor. No land lovers will fight for you harder. Your old first mate went AWOL after a tricky kill haul. The legacy of pirate radio is strong. I hope our mates will come along. The changes we seek may not be long. That is why I wrote this song. And we go ho ho, on adventure we go. Welcome everybody, friends, folks, foes, and fellow pirate mateys, to our latest weekly edition of World Pirate Radio News. It's show segment number 337. I'm your host, as always, Robin Hood's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder. WPRPN.com is the website you'll want to drop by, take a look at. Sign up is free. Be sure as well to check out the show description end of things. If you'd like to support what we do here, keep in mind we have a Patreon, we have merch up for grabs via outlets including galacticfire.com. We also freely accept your digital support in any form or fashion. Pirate One Radio at protonmail.com, our email address. If you have any PayPal donations you'd like to send our way, show suggestions and guest ideas as well, take note of that email address, pirateoneradio at protonmail.com, and that's how you essentially let us know who you're thinking of, who you'd like us to reach out to and bring on board here in the featured guest capacity. I've also got myself indie music available. People can freely download a number of cuts via Jaffe's Man Cave off of the main website, WPRPN.com. And if you like what you hear, we can easily work whatever happens to be to your liking, from behind the scenes, basically. Negotiate your terms. How much more music or
cuts would you like to hear, whether originals, covers, or what have you? Half of everything that we do manage to generate here, as far as the public support end of things is concerned, goes directly back to charity. Hashtag WWRHD, what would Robin Hood do? So, liking, commenting, sharing, remembering to hit subscription notification buttons. That is really critical and helpful as well. So, passing word on to friends, family, and co-workers. Let's not forget that. The good old moccasin telegraph, as it were. Speaking of friends and co-workers, we've got a few of them joining us here once again this week, which is always refreshing to see. It's been a while since we found ourselves skunked here, in the sense of me having to fly completely solo via Coquitlam, British Columbia, Yvon Malenfant, Phoenix, Arizona, Sonia Galactic, and out of West Frankfort, Illinois, Roger Hansen. So now we might Mark out of he's the leading light and luminary behind DrigasProductions.com. He's got his hands full with kids, family tonight, so likely won't be hearing from him. Noroki 5 out on foot patrol from the sounds of things. And Robert Morningstar may be dropping by in the second half of the show. Folks, welcome. Great that each of you took the time and made the effort. I know there's a lot that we like to get into here. First of all, though, while we work our way around the horn, and not each of you introduce yourselves to anyone who's out there listening and is, this might be their first time tuning in, checking out what we have to offer. They don't know too much about any of you, so why don't you let them have an earful? Who are we going to start with? The Canuck or one of the two Yanks? Although I don't think Sonia likes to be maybe referred
I'm
to
not
as
a Yank. I'm not a Yank crap.
do you take that personally?
I degaff for the most part.
What the hell?
But
What is that?
degaff.
What is degaff?
You haven't heard of degaff? Degaff means don't give a fuck.
Oh no, I'm not a Yank, so I don't degaff. if I was one,
I don't really care what people call me actually,
I'm a gaff.
But yeah, I'm not. If anything, I would be kind of a rebel-ish type chick. For sure.
Tom Petty was a rebel.
Right.
For a while, until he had to. He felt he had to disown that sort of branding.
Yeah.
So anyways. But that's a great song, Rebels, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Well, right. let what? Well, now you've got the talking stick there. Why don't
sure.
have at it and pass it around?
Sonia Galactic, and I do T-shirts and stuff. Yeah. So there's that galacticfire.com, ECT or TEC. I'm sorry, instead of TIC.
And you just received $50 from an anonymous
patron.
Donator.
That's right. So excited. Yeah.
Your little kitty there.
Kitty. Yeah, my little kitty.
Gingivitis or something, some rare gum.
Some rare gum thing, yeah.
Where he can't even feed himself. He can't eat. It's painful. Is that right?
It's too painful. Yeah, I got to get him on some antibiotics and some painkillers. So.
That's unfortunate.
That's the story.
Well, let's.
It is.
Well, hopefully that those few doubloons will go toward.
Absolutely.
Will help to get his health back on track, and not look back. He's not even that old, is he?
No, he's like 4 or 5. I mean,
Oh,
he's not very old.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
How are vets out of Phoenix? They charge an arm and a leg?
Yeah, they had a free coupon thing going on, which apparently they don't like that when you indicate that in there, but it was like a $70 vet visit, you know.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's one way. So many communities with the local economies, they working to drum up business, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah,
so
for sure.
why not? That's right.
Yeah.
They even do that here in South Korea from time to
Oh,
time.
wow.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay, who are you gonna pick? Who do you want to hear from? Probably you the two of you are
Roger.
joined at the hip,
Roger.
so why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think, but it's not really all like
T-
that,
to
actually.
hell to hell to hell with Yvonne. He's chopped
Frederick North
he's
most
dog
of the
meat,
time.
chopped liver. Roger, are your levels adequate? Come on, let's hear it from you.
They're not good at all.
No,
So
no, it sucks. No, it sucks.
it's
You,
really bad.
you've got to.
So I mean, I can't fix it.
There we
It's
go.
like
There we go. We
the
want to hear a little more
microphone
passion
stays in
and
one. It's
zest.
stationary.
There you
It's
go.
stationary. There's no bending
Gotta
the
have the
mic.
passion. It's the passion is what it is, Roger.
It's the big
You
dick.
just now
And
had
and
great
and
levels. Yeah.
and the bending. So that's a problem. You don't have the passion. You don't have the bending. You don't have much, do you?
Yeah, the bending, for sure.
Well, you got to send him to Roger Yana of Primal Screaming. That'll get him going.
Now we've
Scream at
lost
trees.
Yvonne's levels for some reason,
Just go scream at
and
trees as well.
he's got a boom mic. Okay, Roger, West Frankfort,
Yeah.
Illinois.
Yeah, West Frankfort, Illinois. If you guys want to find anything that I'm doing, you can find me on the wonderful world of weirdness. Other than that, I do my gaming and live with Roger Hansen. That's it.
And there's only one Roger Hansen on all of the internet. Is that right?
That's right.
I don't
Just
buy
one.
that. I don't buy that at all. But anyways,
Live with Roger Hansen. Everybody loves Roger.
everybody loves Roger. Wasn't that
Yeah,
a TV
I can
show?
agree with that.
Oh, that was Raymond.
Yeah.
Why don't we
that's
do a
right.
reboot?
We
Let's
could.
do it. Let's do it.
We could.
Everybody loves
They'd
Roger.
like me better anyhow, because I'm not Jewish.
Oh, you think Raymond was? We'd have to boost your
I
mic
thought he
levels.
was Italian. I thought he was Italian.
Whatever, dude.
Right?
That's like one pathetic looking Italian dude.
That's what I always thought. You know.
Might have been Canadian.
Yeah,
You're
there's
saying
that.
there's. You mean Jewish actors? Really? I don't. I never would
I
have
don't buy it
guessed.
either.
It's unheard of.
Yeah, that's really rare commodity. Yeah. All right. So Yvonne, Coquitlam, British Columbia. First 30 minutes free. What 30 minutes of what exactly? Can
I don't know.
Take a walk on the lawn.
It's counseling, life coaching. Just want to vent, get off your chest. 30 minutes free.
Okay. And anything more as far as harpo.ca, of course.
.ca.
That's right. Yeah. And you've been in the business of counseling and providing outreach to people who sometimes they're really in a tight spot and just so do you encourage meditation at all, or does that ever come up, like breathing?
What? Yeah, of course.
No, like breathing,
yeah, meditation,
and relax,
Reiki, all that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Do you think
stuff?
I see. Okay, that's good, because a lot of that, I don't think it accounts for everything, and this is of course just my personal opinion. Not that we're here to offer any, speaking for myself at least, formal medical. Does that include spiritual advice? I mean, is that how bad things have gotten now? No, spiritual, financial, or legal advice. But clearing our minds and just breathing, relaxing. We've got I've with this whole public speaking gig, this
Mhm.
is something that, and I'm just, we're just pretty much shooting from the hip here the whole time. Of course, it's not like anything's all that scripted. It's all largely impromptu. But people ask sometimes, like, why does he slow down? It's like, it sounds like you're really, it's because you're taking time to reflect and gather your thoughts, and to really
Right.
allow for clarity to arise. Well, what did Abraham Lincoln, how did he put it? Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than open one's mouth and remove all doubt. So, you know,
Wasn't that Ben Franklin
probably both of them. Probably Ben probably stole it from Lincoln.
or the other way around?
No,
Lincoln
no,
came later.
no. This is a science fiction edition of American history. And
Right. The time tunnel.
Doctor
what is that
Going
Doctor
back in
Who.
time.
Mandela effect, the Franklin effect,
That's not
Franklin
on
effect.
Doctor Who.
Oh, the Franklin.
the
Yeah,
Franklin effect.
that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Jaffe and the others. We were chatting earlier about coming back home and that, and I was in Korea for 19 and a half years, and I had the privilege of coming to Canada a few times at least. But when I came back to Vancouver, I remember I was in Coquitlam waiting for a bus with Michelle, and I saw a woman, and she had kind of like a t-shirt on, and then she had these leggings that were almost see-through. So they looked like tights, you traditionally wear.
Got my attention.
And it's like she forgot to put her skirt on or something.
Uh-huh.
And you could just kind of see her butt cheeks and everything. And I'm like, did she forget to put her skirt on?
Was this a black
And
lady
it's
with
just
a big booty? Black lady
it's
with big
just
booty.
no, but it was just very. It really threw me into
Yeah.
next Wednesday because I was like, like in Korea, no one would ever wear that, such skimpy clothing
Sure that wasn't
in public.
your wife that threw you
No.
into next Thursday. Get your eyes off
She
of
does
her.
though. She does sometimes.
Smart
But
up.
no. Oh, that's kind of like I'm working on a song. I felt thrown into next Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
It's the lyric I'm working on.
Cool. Well, you just
And my wife's playing with my wedding band, playing crokinole with my wedding band.
right now or in the song?
Like, yeah, the song, yeah. Anyways, but I really felt it was just a strange reverse culture shock,
Yeah.
and so I work a lot with kind of Asian Western couples, especially, kind of lost in translation with worlds colliding. So it's not easy.
Oh,
And
a lot of the clientele that you're picking up these days?
yeah, I've got clients in Montreal, Shenzhen, China,
So
Dhaka, Bangladesh, other places. Yeah.
so and international couples, you've worked with
Yeah,
a lot of those
couples.
over the years. How about that, eh? Couples there. I can believe
because we don't know what we don't know, right? There's a lot of mystery. People don't understand another culture, cross culture.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to connect and figure out.
Yeah. The wife and I here just 20 plus years essentially being together as a couple. I just try to reason with her and talk things out. She's the more hysterical, um, emotional one, which how a lot of Koreans are, of course. Presumably, they don't know how sometimes to contain their emotions. It's yeah. So look, but
I know
we
in the
talked
biblical sense of knowing.
Oh God!
I know.
Here we go.
Adam knew Eve.
This isn't a Kinky Friedman joke, is it?
No.
Yeah, but yeah, we know and we know. I don't think we want to know.
I know that you know.
Yeah. So there we go. Lost in translation. Yeah, 2,000 plus years of with the God's word. God's word. It always, the preacher standing up there in the pulpit, usually Protestants, and Firebrand, Helen Brimstone. It's like, waving the Bible, congregation, God's word. You're in my hand. They're totally missing the point, actually, because that's just small w, as far as I'm circumcised. That's small w, God's word. The larger one really is the logos. And it kind of rhymes with cosmos. And that is the Greek, which, from what I understand, did have an influence back in the day in helping to shape and, give rise to what we have today. And really, if we're to cut through all the BS that, because they're just words. We've got to connect with the spirit and ultimately, do abandon, the words where we feel confident and comfortable enough that and then that's in the purest sense what we're able to, I guess you would say, commune with and really, really connect with um, on level of vibration and frequency. Presumably. Speaking of which, Atlas 3i vibration and frequency. Okay, I've in part got to apologize. Little tongue in cheek here. I didn't know at first. I kind of looked at it thinking, is this what's up with this, or what are we looking at? The whole Elon Musk thing, hashtag fact check. Apparently it's fake, but you know what? It's funny as hell. I don't care. If you see what we've got there, and it's been making the rounds. Strange silence on 3i Atlas, Elon Musk. So, and I looked at the picture, and it's like, well, that doesn't really look like it. It looked almost like an AI replication, and we got the blue check mark. So I was skeptical, and now it's one of our actually friends on Facebook. Let's see, Lisa Austin, I believe is that her name. Let's scroll. Yeah, yeah, great job there. White Rabbit Austin looked it up, said that Elon didn't post this. It is fake. It's a major fake-a-rooney there. So, yeah, believe half of what you uh, see and nothing of what you hear, kind of deal. So, but Fibonacci sequence. Fibonacci sequence is uh, one of the things that's being discussed. Robert Morningstar. Now, see, and he's at the point where he says he doesn't believe anything anymore, and deservedly so. That's because we've been propelled into this post-truth world, which truth still is what it is, presumably, but it's just that there's so much in the way of obscuration and muddying, unfortunately, muddying of the waters, leading people to become quite confused. But don't worry, government will work it. No, they'll straighten it all out, right? We can trust those government people to clear it all up for us, surely. So just leave it in their hands, kind of like the way they're handling the whole ostrich situation in Canada right now, and the way that they dealt with the whole scamdemic business over the course of several years to the tune of who knows how many hundreds of billions of dollars. Someone want to jump in there? Or you tisking me? It's like, oh, shush, trying to shush me. It's like, that's enough.
Well, the ostrich, it's not only their heads that'll be in the sand, they're going to be buried underground if they're not careful. I mean, we've been fighting it, trying to keep them alive. It's really pathetic, the government here.
Well, they're
Really.
globalists, right? That's what they're doing. They're working on behalf of the, what is it? That's the World Economic Forum and the WHO, and that's we've ceded over our sovereignty. We've handed it over to these global interests. You realize that, don't you? Or that's how the story goes, at least. That's
I'm
why.
playing with the Crocs in denial.
What? What in denial?
I'm playing with the Crocs in denial.
The river denial.
Denial River.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Denial.
yes, indeed. Great.
I'm in denial.
A lot of engagement here. Speaking of
Kidding. Go ahead.
It would give a shout out to Vincent Mosetti, Robert Sandage, Paul Ascow. Is that how you pronounce the surname? I hope so. Is it PJ or RJ Romero, Stuart Cardell, Walter Brooks, Chuck Lang, Tim Hedges, Joshua Allen Huckle, Lisa Austin. That's Lisa White Rabbit Austin. Once again, Darren Cooper, Haiwana Senshi, Christopher Allen Green, Paul Otten, Dennis Koch, Brian Tsang, Min Bilge, Sonia Morris, and Christian Laterre. We picked up a lot of traction with the main, the promo blurb here in support of this week's show. So a lot of curiosity and interest. And is it? I'm still not clear. Is it 3i Atlas, Atlas 3i? I think people go about either way. Seems to work for most people. But what does everyone have to say then, as far as what you're seeing, what you're hearing? I even posted something. I posted something more that was bloody AI, but I'm just going to leave it up because it's so convincing. But it's not Michio Kaku. It's an AI Michio Kaku, and it's very convincing. And I don't know. I don't understand. Well, I do actually, come to think of it. The reason that YouTube allows this, because it's all about, you see, fake news. They were misinformation, scam, misleading, right? Except when it suits their interests. And the reason that I can easily see why big, the world of big corporations, the fascist new world order would embrace AI, especially within the context of social media, is because they save money. That's one of the reasons. And not only that, but it benefits them to, once again, to confuse the hell out of everybody and just have people fighting amongst each other, arguing, taking radical opposite positions, and order out of chaos, folks. Order out KO. But they don't have to pay honest live streaming people, freebooters such as ourselves, what we rightly deserve. Frankly, we're not entitled or able to qualify for these super chats on YouTube, as an example. Not deplatformed, entirely deplatformed, but they cut us off from the super chat end of things. Is just one of the things that we're up against here. So, this is just crazy. It says we've only got 15 minutes. I'm not sure why that is, but we should have
Right.
25. That's weird. What the hell's going on? That doesn't make any sense at all.
That is weird.
Because everyone was out of the room here, right?
Mhm.
Everyone was out of the room to begin with, and then popped back in. So I don't I can fill in the blanks there, but all right. Got everyone here on mostly Yvonne. Yvonne, are you looks like you're grinding your teeth there. I'm not sure what that's all about. I thought you led a pretty clean cut kind of lifestyle. Like, isn't it mostly
Oh, stop writing me, for God's sake. Jeez.
trust
What a
riding
guy.
riding trust me, that's
I'm just biting
no.
the inside of my mouth. I'm sorry.
I see.
I'll
How
stop doing
dare
that.
you?
Grinding.
How
Is
dare
that
you?
what is
How
it?
dare you?
Is that a meth type? Not you, Yvonne. It's a little hypersensitive there, but now he's really going to start grinding. But the meth is it side effects? Is that what they do, or is it what am I thinking? What
they
is
do
it?
that.
Depends on the person.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't think
Like
he.
80,
Oh, Ray Charles, didn't he used to
88%.
like do the scratch
Mhm.
thing?
Charlie
Yeah.
Charles who?
Ray Charles.
Really?
Yeah, kind of like to do with addictions, I guess.
I can believe that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, great talent, but I mean, yeah, he was hooked on smack for
yeah.
quite a few
Heroin.
years.
Yeah, that
Y-
was a side effect.
you got to get hip. You got to get hip to the street slang.
Yeah.
Street lingo there, Yvonne. It's a smack. Horse. Horse is another
Smack.
one. Yeah, conventionally known on the streets as horse. Smack. Not that I've ever indulged, but God forbid. See, I've gotten my
Ah,
kicks in other ways. Yeah.
Maybe
I
in
bet.
Canada, ride a horse. What the heck, dude? Is that like a Canadian slang word or some
I
shit?
guess.
Look it up, man. It's
Look
that's
it up.
just look it
He
up.
said,
Smack.
"Look it up."
Ask
Smack
Chat
is a slang
GPT.
word.
That's hilarious.
Horse?
Just call it what
Horse
it is.
flesh.
Horse. Freaking. Well, they eat horse meat.
Koreans.
It's a
Oh my
French.
Yeah.
Took
Don't get
your
me
in,
started on
Roger.
French.
Yep.
Don't get me started on French. And
Oh.
I'm not talking about French Canadians either. I'm
Yeah, it's
talking
like
about the French.
the Koreans always say, like when you criticize them regarding eating dog meat, it's like, well, the French eat frogs' legs. So it's like, well, two wrongs don't make a right.
And horse and rabbit. I love rabbit.
Rabbit
French.
fricassee.
What can I say?
Fricassee.
Well, frogs and rabbits are fine. but dude,
Lapin.
a horse, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like was the first freaking animal we domesticated.
Horse
Before
or
the
rabbit?
dog. The dog.
Rabbit.
The dog and then the
Dog.
horse
The first animal that we domesticated?
was a dog.
I thought it was women.
Well, no.
I was going to say that, but
Sorry.
I thought, no,
What?
bite your tongue.
No, well,
What the
see.
F, man?
definitely women.
Oh,
We're still
You're in the doghouse,
we've
Jaffe.
still yet to succeed. It's a
That's where you
science
live.
we've still yet to perfect.
Barf, barf, barf.
Actually, we checked the demographics. Can you believe that actually female listeners rank like they are in the highest demographic? They actually outstrip, if you excuse the pun, the male end of the audience. Then it's more, and now who knows everything in between, everything else in between. I have no idea. They're kind of like an outlier. But yeah, what it is about women exactly, why they're drawn. I guess it's the whole pirate.
They're drawn to
intrigue.
you.
No,
They
it's a
think
pirate
that you're
brand
like
image.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
He thinks he's Johnny Depp. What are you talking
I'm too
about?
old to be Johnny Depp. I could be Johnny Depp's father.
There you go.
Well, you think you're Johnny Depp's father, then there
Daddy
you go.
Depp.
Actually, that was Keith Richards. I could be Keith. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. I could be Keith.
Keith Richards. I'd be your grandfather.
Yeah. So we're going to be running out of time here, folks. And so if there's anything more,
Dead
like,
Man by Johnny Depp. That was good.
what's it called?
You see Dead Man?
Uh,
Dead Man.
Dead man.
Was that where did Neil?
Jim Jarmusch. Great movie.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, Neil
About
Young does the
women,
music
exactly
on it.
why they're
It's great.
Right. By the way, I'm not sure if we're going to be back.
Stupid fucking white man.
That's your
Very much.
one complimentary F-bomb. Watch this. We got kids out there. It's Christmas
That's it.
time. Speaking of Christmas
Thank
time,
you.
Operation Secret Santa coming up here December 15th. I know it's, hey, what is it? Well, it's not even 2 months down the road here. We got to work on getting your act together, folks. Get the word out. Share the links, the main link, Operation Secret Santa, and explain to people that anyone can get involved at any level. There's no frills, there's no catches. It's just Christmas, celebrating and reveling. Somebody moaning. Is that moaning, groaning with delight or disgust? I'm not sure. Remember when you're not on the mic, just to mute yourselves out there for cleaner.
Have you done any research into Santa Claus yet?
Cinder
We had
Claus.
this-
St. Nicholas.
Cinder
We
Claus.
had this conversation last year.
We're not
too. I don't
talking
know
about
if-
Santa Claus, really. We're not going to depth or detail right now. Save it for
Well-
around 2 months down the road. Well, there
I
was
just wanted to double check because, like,
there was a Saint Nicholas, or are you gonna are we gonna erase him out of? Is he kind of didn't really exist in your view
well,
of world history?
you apparently forgot what we were talking about, like where it started in Eastern Europe.
Uh
The whole,
huh.
what was his name? He was that ruler that ended up getting killed by his brother.
Oh, Dracula.
No, you were getting ready to just say it.
Wait for
Sigmund.
Freud, of course. Well, Jung had a thing about murdering the
Sigmund.
father, but
Siggy.
but he
No, it
didn't
was
follow through.
his brother
Philip.
ended up having him murdered at the doorstep of the church.
Oh,
Um,
Smyrna. Yeah, Smyrna. I
yeah,
believe is if you look, but we're not here to talk about that right now. We wait for get your get it 2 months hence, and we'll have at it. And my understanding, Saint Nicholas, and there's a long story, and there's been lots of YouTube videos, and the whole thing put to Cinderklaus and
Yeah.
the
Cinder
Krampus, of
Claus.
course, the kind of dark, the shadow. Incorporate there's got to be a Punisher, of course, to make the kids better not pout, you better not cry. But anyways, we bring it all together. It's very eclectic, our approach. In fact, whether you're atheist, pagan, Christian, secular, it doesn't matter. Even the real the hard sell is of course to the satanic community, because I'm not sure. I think they're generally cheap people, basically, more self-absorbed and self-indulgent, and that's what they revel in, I guess. So, but our biggest donor was an atheist, to the tune of $500 back in the day, and that really helped to go a long way as far as keeping the campaign afloat. This year, we're not so sure though, because to this point, we've had to definitely help out others more than people have reached out to us in support of the work that we do here. So that it's reached the point of, well, it's just unfortunate that there's not more people, picking up the quality merchandise we have available via galacticfire.com, um, helping with the PayPal end of things, the digital love, so on and so forth. Just get creative, think outside the box, right? So, the Patreon support, let it be known that you would like to assist what we do here, and ultimately the end of the year annual outreach 10-day telethon. That's where we really let it all hang out, and it's for the sake of doing what we can to let it be known that and to challenge others, really, asking, well, why isn't why aren't more people doing this, the live streamers in particular, and along with just you know Joe and Jane public, as it were, that just everyone playing their part. So, but and we're not talking, and with the campaign, it's not just like cash, money, donations, part-time jobs. That works based on people's skill sets, the haves versus the have-nots, and it's really not that. It's not as confusing or complicated as some people might want to make it out to be. It's just that they haven't listened uh, to enough of. I think this is our 10th or 11th year of Operation Secret Santa coming up here now.
It's 11th, isn't it?
I think you're keeping better track than we are. That's right. Yeah, last year may have been a 10th.
I think I remember last year was a 10th.
You're right. I think you're
Good,
right.
solid round number.
Yeah,
If I recall correctly.
I think you're right. So, anyways, and by the way, let's give a shout out to DK there as well too. We see DK and there's a few others. Actually, who do you see, Sonia? You're keeping a watchful eye.
Zane Ivy out there?
Could very well be, yeah.
Well, I'm not on day live till right now,
Okay.
so in YouTube, I'm not sure. They haven't joined the chat, so
Well,
not
now
sure.
check and see if we're live streaming through YouTube because we were monkeying
We are.
around with the settings in the lead up to the show, and we're still like we're a little confused. It you know.
We are. It's going on.
It is, yeah. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, you're on there.
So, all right, and I'm not sure when these. I don't know with Teams, man. It's kind of running at a pretty substandard level, unfortunately. The way, and that's endlessly they're putting the squeeze on, not just Teams, but right across the spectrum. You know, the pay to play formula is they don't want to let you know that, of course, but it's just slowly putting the squeeze on. It's like fewer and fewer items available, fewer and fewer features, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, here.
Gmail.
Yes.
I'm about to get kicked off mine.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're over the limit.
Yeah.
But I mean, here, like, you only have 1 hour. What's with that? Like,
Well,
YouTube, Skype was fine. Why did they change it?
Well, exactly. There you go. Don't if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So,
yeah, I agree.
But they decide this is probably being run out of
5 seconds.
India is is it from your end? That's what they're telling you? Is that what they're saying? So
it's over an hour.
No, so you didn't check.
Oh, well, you and I, we came on first.
Oh, there we go. All right. Oh, jeez. So there we go. Yeah, well, and there was no notification when Yvonne and I did first connect, actually, from the start this go around. The clock kicking in, there is no notification of that whatsoever, and usually there is. So that's another little bit of you can. If there's anyone out there working in support of Teams, just let it be known. Something you might want to keep an eye on and see to it that you can tackle so that it you know, runs a little more smoothly, obviously. Woke cancels, ban Poppy tribute. Well, I don't know. I got mixed feelings on this one. I probably would have banned it years ago, given the fact that it's where so much in the way of illicit revenues are generated. I mean, how ironic. Yeah, wars. What is this war thing all about, anyways? With the involvement of the bankers, the big banks. Yeah, the money laundering and the drugs. And where are these drugs? Going back to the poppies. Poppies, not just in World War One, but Afghanistan. Who knows how much was being harvested in the lead up to World War One across Europe. And I think that was right around the time they had in Hong Kong, there was some pretty high profile conventions, I believe is what they called them, opium conventions. All the usual suspects, as one might imagine. In the wake of the Opium Wars and in the lead up to World War One. Look it up, Hong Kong. I think it's Opium Conventions, 1910. There's a second one as well. That's where they're getting all their stoned ducks in a row. Not ostriches this time with their fake, non-existent, mutant avian flu virus, which there's been no sign of in the better part of a year, but something entirely different. So, but yeah, may you live in interesting times. Now, there's a shot looking right there. Speaking of 3-1 Atlas 3-1 Fibonacci sequence. Now, is this real or what? What we just saw there. What is up with the? I mean, that looks like something like DNA, doesn't it? DNA sequencing. And you have the Fibonacci sequence, like supposedly that is what they've been transmitting. That's the communication that certain observatories are picking up. There's also the wild rumor making the rounds that places, astronomical observatories, such agencies, including NASA, even ChatGPT, which it's hilarious the answers that ChatGPT offers. Total establishment narrative through and through, each and every time. So predictable, so predictable, and we'll see ultimately what happens here, because there's not much time. Atlas 3-1 will be occulted, hidden, behind the sun in about not even a week from now, I guess, is what it's looking like. That's why we decided to feature it tonight. It is hard to discern, though, obviously, when you've got conflicting accounts and reports. Is it Avi Loeb? Now, he definitely did come out in the real sense. Michio Kaku, I think that's AI generated. I'm sure Michio has his own take on things. It would be something quite close to what the AI had to offer, but maybe not as quite the stretch. Avi Loeb, though, this is a high-ranking, very very well, world-renowned, recognized. Don't know if he's dual citizen necessarily or what exactly. U.S. Israeli astrophysicist, but he may have gone so far as to say this is in fact I'm not sure how he phrased it exactly, but it's whether it's an alien intelligent, it would be a mega mothership the size of Manhattan Island. What we're looking at there, folks. So get back to us though with all of your latest. By all means, we're happy to hear from you and what insights you can provide. I know Sonia had a thing or two to say about the whether the whole thing was a psyop or not. I'm not sure if that could actually be something, even though it has been predicted that a fake alien invasion, according to Werner von Braun, the famous, or if you will, infamous Nazi NASA paperclip scientist, what he had to say regarding the whole matter, that a fake alien invasion would in the end days, essentially, end times, be staged. That would be the last resort, one of the last tricks that the powers that be would have left up their sleeve. Not much time left, though, to determine whether or not this will prove to be the case. I guess all we can do now is grab a nice bag of popcorn. I'm going to stock up on a few food supplies, medical, health, what have you, But yeah, may you live in interesting times. Ancient Chinese curse. So, okay, we're going to cut away to commercial break here momentarily before dropping back in for the final hour, what we got left. This week's live stream, World Pirate Radio News, show segment 337. Red Dragon Herbs and Teas. With any order of $25 or more, you will immediately receive a 10% discount. All you simply have to do is let Ryan know. Ryan or his wife know. One of two things: Pirate Radio or Pirate Code. They will have a pretty clear sense of what you're going on about, and that you've connected with us here and would like to take advantage of that discount. Pirate Radio, Pirate Code, the Red Dragon herbs.com line of products that they have available over there. Meanwhile, CannaSense Cannabis Collective, 5813 is our referral link. 5813. We'll be back here in just a flash. Folks, do not touch that radio dial or computer mouse.
Medical cannabis is now legal by telemedicine. Get the medicine you need by getting reviewed for a medical cannabis card. Contactless appointments available at CannaSense.com. For as low as $39, you can get reviewed for a medical cannabis card. That's CannaSense.com for a licensed medical cannabis doctor review. CannaSense.com has all the information you need to get connected with a doctor for a $39 medical cannabis appointment. CannaSense.com. CannaSense is common sense.
Catering exclusively to the Des Moines, Iowa area and beyond, Red Dragon Herbs and Teas is a small, family-owned business dedicated to the creation of only the finest quality artisan herbal tea blends. Drawing upon many of the world's most richly established customs and traditions, Red Dragon Herbs' mission is about more than just getting their products out to the market. They also strive to help educate their customers on the wider benefits, history, and folklore of all their plants. Of course, any seasoned pirate knows when they're fixin' to tango with the Kraken, you best be powered up with at least one of the finest select quality premium items freely offered via Red Dragon Herbs and Teas wide inventory. Choosing from any of their caffeine-free, headache relief, or rest and relaxation blends, history has proven their products among the best sources of scurvy prevention and vitamin supplementation. Red Dragon Herbs and Teas, bringing you guaranteed homegrown health relief.
Red Dragon Herbs and Teas, bringing you guaranteed homegrown health relief. We are back here with the final hour to this week's live stream, show segment number 337, World Pirate Radio News. Myself, your host as always, the show's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder. WPRPN.com, the website you want to drop by, take a look at. Sign up is free. Pirate One Radio at protonmail.com, our email address. If you'd like to support us in any way, that's how you go about connecting with us via PayPal. Other ways of, well, take a look at what we have available as far as merch is concerned. The t-shirts, coffee mugs that are up for grabs via galacticfire.com and elsewhere. Reach out to us as well if you'd like to suggest a feature show guest or have any particular show ideas you'd like to see produced. So we just had someone, while we were putting things together here, actually wrapping up the commercial end of this week's live stream, trying to connect, looks like via Manhattan, New York, Robert Morningstar. So maybe he can help to bring a little more clarity to the conversation as far as Three Eye Atlas is concerned. Robert, we've got you there finally. Yeah, we were just on commercial break when you were.
Oh, that's okay. I've got mind-blowing things to share with you guys. Oh my God.
Well, let's
aside from Three Eye Atlas, I'm going to give you a link to Ollie Damigard and the real history.
Going here for you.
The real history of the Beatles.
I got to put it on the piano, okay?
Really out of this world.
Are you hearing? You're hearing Yvonne?
Yeah, I'm hearing him talking in the background.
Yeah, he left his mic on. It's fine. We
okay.
Shut him down there. Go ahead.
Well, what do you want to talk about? I can give you a brief rundown on Three Eye Atlas, and then
the Beatles. You're saying something about some breaking.
I know so much about the Beatles and MI6 and the Tavistock Institute. You know, we've heard so much about the frequencies that were used and the purpose. But Ollie Damigard and two Dutch friends of his have put together the most amazing interview and slideshow that I have ever seen. And Jill and I have been sitting here watching it. It is mind-boggling. And yeah, Paul did die in a car crash, and they had to replace him with another guy. Billy Shears' story is true. Ringo Starr fessed it up at the end. You know, he said, it's long overdue. I'm telling you, yeah. Paul McCartney did die in a car crash in 1966, and we had to replace him. And I've always said, that was the right thing to do, because if they hadn't done that, there would have been so many teenage suicides around the world because, of the worship, basically, that they were generating from the Beatlemaniacs. But it gives all the background story of how EMI, MI6, Brian Epstein, George Martin, all of these people were involved in creating this product. The Beatles were a product. And the name of the Beatles is totally Masonic. It relates to the scarab beetle in Egypt, and these guys are deciphering the signs, the Masonic signs and signals that the Beatles were using on their album covers. A lot of stuff like that is fantastic. Fantastic. It's the best thing I've ever seen on this mystery of the Beatles. And the purpose was the New World Order, the elite, as they're calling them, wanted to control the consciousness, mass consciousness and mass mind control. And he gets into how EMI in England and RCA in the United States were working together simultaneously to change the consciousness of the world by installing, mind controlling, imposing cultural Marxism. That was their goal. It was incredible. I'll give you the link. You still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, but the screen changed and I got shrunk and everybody else disappeared. I only see Robin Hood on the screen. And
I'm not sure what happened to...
We had a lot of things happen last night, huh?
When I dropped in, joined you for the final hour?
Yeah, we had a lot of...
Yeah, let me just... you asked me about this Michio Kaku. You might have missed it. We were talking about it in the front end of things, but Michio Kaku, and I should have known better, really. I do suspect now that what I did share was AI generated, or AI, shall we say, enhanced.
Yeah, it was AI enhanced. That was obvious. It was AI enhanced.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't tell, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think, as with the McCartney business, that what they do, because you're right about a number of points with the masonry and powers that be and so forth, that it ends up being a half-truths that are seized upon and taken, and then don't forget, because I know a few things about the Beatles as well, and so we could I mean, we've been in contact with a couple of the more better established people in the area of Paul is dead, or Fall, as he is made. I don't know how affectionately referred. Yeah, Fall, like fake Paul. Yeah. So and Billy, Billy Shears. But there's two in particular, not naming any names, very well known, and they kind of on again, off again, and then it didn't happen, so they essentially flaked out. But as with that, there's so much, like, as you say, and we gave you a bit of a shout out during the first hour, saying, and I quote, I'm trying to quote exactly, but how you don't trust anything anymore.
With AI?
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, yeah.
Listen, the new Kings, the No Kings demonstrations, they're generating fake photographs of millions of people. And there were if you believe them, there were 7 million across the country, but they had a photograph that showed like 2 million people in a huge park. I thought it was supposed to be Central Park, but I wrote to the guy. His name is Brian Krasenstein. He's an arch lefty, commie, pro Kamala guy. And I said, that's fake AI. Why are you putting this bullpucky on X? But they're desperate. It's a sign of desperation. But nothing happened. New York was quiet. It was, as I said, a nothing burger. The temperament was tepid. There were a couple of zanies out in California calling for shooting ICE officers and federal officers. Another guy threatened Stephen Miller, with violence. But it was nothing. The crowds were small in New York. You would think, no way 1 million people in New York. It was like just maybe a couple of thousand. Because people have had it.
Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. Who said that so famously back in the day? The old man of the mountain.
Oh, really? I don't remember. There are 2 old men of the mountain. One was Chinese, and the other one was in New Hampshire. Was the old man of the mountain was a a natural profile on a mountain in New Hampshire. And who wrote the Scarlet Letter? What was his name? Nathaniel Hawthorne.
Yeah, right.
Nathaniel Hawthorne. He wrote an incredible book called The Great Stone Face. And it was a really amazing novel about this guy who was always, from childhood, looking at the Great Stone Face and always hoping that he would see the man or meet the man or the man. Like the Great Stone Face becomes kind of like a messiah figure in the story. And he lives his whole life, you know, anticipating the arrival of the man with the great stone face. And then when he's old, he happens to look in a mirror that's reflecting another mirror and his own profile. And he sees that he is the great stone face. It's a fabulous novel, really great.
Something.
Hawthorne was great.
Yeah. We've got Naroki here. Naroki 5 out of Edmonton, Alberta. I'm not sure. Naroki, you've dropped in. We didn't call you. Are you free now?
Yeah, I am free. I ended up having, ironically enough, a rather long conversation about.
Wait, before, excuse me, Naroki, I have one more thing to say about Nathaniel Hawthorne. Nathaniel Hawthorne warned us all about the pernicious nature of medicine and chemistry and trying to change your nature, what God gave you. He wrote a book called The Mark. And it's about this doctor who marries a very, very beautiful woman, but she has a blemish on her face. She has a mole. And he thinks that mole just detracts from the absolute beauty of her. So he starts to do alchemy and chemistry and concoctions, hoping that the mole will disappear. And he starts giving her these medicines, and they're not working. And he keeps working and working. And finally, and he gives it to her. She drinks it. The mole disappears, and she dies.
Yeah.
That was a warning from Nathaniel Hawthorne back in the early 1800s. You know, that's how far.
It's brilliant insight. Naroki, have at it.
Hey.
All right. Well, I mean, I jumped in right when Robert Morningstar mentioned ice, and the first thing that popped into mind, because this literally just happened a couple of days ago, and I think you'll find this amusing, Jaffe, considering your background. San Jose Sharks on their Instagram had issued this apology. Because literally at a home game, the San Jose Sharks had this. And keep in mind, it's ice hockey, right? So the San Jose Sharks had something on their big screen that said, "The San Jose Sharks love ice," right? Because and it was like, and some snowflakes in the crowd got massively offended by this. And to the point where the San Jose Sharks actually had to apologize for it. And it was like, and I'm like, literally, hold on a second. I mean, I might even actually have it up right at the moment.
But
right?
the punchline should have been, but not the kind you're thinking of.
Yeah, well, it was like, it's like, I mean, it's like I had this one person. It was like, just like absolutely losing his shit over this thing on the big screen in the middle of that jumbotron in the middle of the ice, right?
That's pretty funny.
And it's like, and I'm like pointing out to him, it's like, hockey is played on ice.
Yeah.
Yes.
They should have just thrown him out.
Hockey's even played with ice, but not the kind you're thinking of.
And it was like, the guy was like literally so stupid that he actually doubled down on what he was saying. It's like, and then so I had to say it again. It's like, hockey is played on ice. Yes or no? Scale of the answer is yes or no. I mean, keep in mind, I generally am in agreement with what, and actually, again, right, I was probably better than 50% that what is it? What number am I at now? I have to keep track of this. 465
okay.
might not. Well, 464 might be going down, but I mean, I might just take a break and might not do anything this week. Would be the first time in a few years that I haven't. But you know, the whole thing, like the whole thing around what happened with No Kings a couple of days ago now was just like literally almost like a non-event, like nothing.
Nothing burger. That's what I said. I was just talking.
A huge nothing burger, right?
Right.
It was like
tepid. Everything was calm. It was just a bunch of people trying to relive the old Vietnam War flower power type of thing. But New York was quiet. There was nothing in my neighborhood.
Oh, there was even Chicago.
In the videos I've seen from Times Square, there's hardly anybody there.
Well, I mean, they tried to make it look bigger than it actually was. Well, I mean, even the stuff in Portland is starting to die. Well, I mean, for a while, what was going on there is that whenever it's independent, that situation in Portland, every time independent media, because what was going on is that they had these two faces going on with Portland, right? You had the stuff during the daytime where they'd be dancing and celebrating and whatever, and the mainstream media would come out, and that's what they would show on their programming. And then the independent media would come at night after all the mainstream media had left and was getting an entirely different take on what was going on, and Antifa was actively threatening and harassing and doxing and doing everything they can to prevent the independent media from showing it, and it wasn't working. So even the ICE facilities outside of Portland and Chicago, right? They're starting to they're starting to back off.
Well, not really. The appeals court just yesterday decreed that President Trump does have the authority to send the National Guard into Portland or any other place for this reason, but they're hiding. Antifa is under great duress because the president, you know who Andy Ngo is, right? You were talking about.
I know exactly who Andy Ngo is.
Andy Ngo met with the President of the United States about 10 days ago. They had a meeting in the White House, and Andy Ngo and another group, a whole group of investigators who have been beaten up and harassed and attacked by Antifa, presented all their evidence, but more importantly, they presented the evidence they found of the funding of Antifa and these leftist radical organizations to the president. They got the whole network of NGOs that are funding it. And one of them that really sticks in my mind, Roy Neil Singham, is a mega millionaire who lives in China with his wife, who is the founder of Code Pink. And they were the ones that were paying for the gas masks, you know, the protective plexi.
Oh, you mean those things in that would happen in LA where that guy
in LA, yeah, they were just trucks that dumped them all.
Concrete blocks.
Yeah, and you could only get them in bulk at Walmart. Yeah, I remember that.
We're smart people, and the government is smart. Americans are smart. And they go, who paid for all these masks? So they went, they got the masks, they got the truck drivers who dropped them off. Who paid for this? And they tracked it back to Red China, and Roy Neil Singham, Singham, and his wife, the founder of Code Pink, and they were funneling mega millions of dollars to fund these No Kings demonstrations and to pay for these signs. You know, there was a let's call it a sign. It was the U.S. Constitution, 20 feet wide and full length, written out on what looked like cloth that looked like parchment. And I said to my friend Janon, I said, look at that sign. Can you imagine how many thousands of dollars that sign costs to generate? A facsimile of the U.S. Constitution, we the people, blah, 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 all the way down on brown parchment, 20 feet wide at the top, about 40 feet long. And I said, who could imagine such a thing? Who could pay for such a thing? And what industry could produce such a facsimile? On top of all the regular signs with perfect lettering and huge signs, as opposed to the ones with the magic marker. Yeah, well, the jig is up, and Americans are tired of it. As a matter of fact, another good sign is I read that Robert Kennedy is flying around the country in economy class. You know, he's not taking business class or first class because he's not into spending the government's money.
There you go.
I heard he got on an airplane in economy class, and when people found out he was on, everybody started applauding and roaring.
Well, there you go. That's right. That's the way to
That's
do it.
the
That's true leadership. And besides, if it and maybe it could be a selfish interest as well, enlightened self interest. If the plane crashes, more of a chance that you survive when sitting in the back. So he might be kind of playing both sides of the equation there. Who really knows?
Well, you ought to see that. And speaking of that, and you know I love movies. There's a movie called No Island in the Sky.
Oh yeah.
I think with James Stewart. It's about. Was it? Highway. No highway in the sky. No highway in the sky.
No pirates in the sky.
Yeah. Well, there are. But No Highway in the Sky with James Stewart. It's about an engineer who's working on this very advanced British airplane in the early 1950s. You know, they call it the Reindeer. And he's convinced that the tail is going to fall off. And they've spent so many mega millions of dollars on this transatlantic airliner that they don't want to listen to him, except one guy, one British official. And he's saying the tail's going to fall off. And it's a brilliant movie. I'll look for it. I found a beautiful color version of it. It's worth seeing.
Is it based on a true story?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
The comet.
Okay.
You know, the first commercial came out in 1948.
Okay.
Beautiful aircraft. It was falling out of the sky because the British loved to put scenic square windows on the airplane so you could have the view. And the FAA said, you know, that's not a good idea. There's too much stress. Those windows are going to crack. You should make oval windows. You should round the corners. And the British didn't listen. They put in the square windows. So these airplanes, the comets were falling out of the sky into the oceans, in the Mediterranean in particular. And they went down. They brought them up, and they found that the stress of inflating the airplane, you know, pressurization, it's inflation. So, and the decompression caused cracks at the corners of the windows.
Sure.
And that they'd be up at 30,000 feet, and then the fuselage would open, and the deaths of the people were horrible because the vacuum would just rip your lungs right out of your mouth. It was horrible. So yeah, it was based on a true story.
Okay, well, we've got to. I'm going to just temporarily put the brakes on things because we want to share the screen.
Cool.
But the problem is, it's going to cut into the audio end of things, or it might even crash everything out altogether. I really couldn't say, but hopefully not all that, you know, hopefully relatively pain-free. Roger, we've got you there. Now, Robert's dropped in. I'd like to talk a little bit more about 3i while we got time, of course. We don't really see much. There's no clock here at all, so we don't know what time constraints we're up against via Teams. But Robert, now I think it's Robert's end. It usually is. Let's see. We're gonna mute out Naroki, and where are we bleeding through?
Well, I'll lower my.
Maybe that might have been Naroki.
I don't think so.
That might have been Naroki.
Actually, I was already muted. I just unmuted myself just to say that.
All right. Okay. So now we did share the talking points in the chat end of things here, the main WPRPN group on Teams. So we failed to do that from the get-go, but the talking points are there. Actually, you know what? Let's give that a quick, just a once-over, essentially, and see where that leads us. There was, Ace Frehley, I guess is how you pronounce his name, the spaceman, Robert wasn't a huge Kiss fan, nor was I particularly, but they were a great band. There's no doubt about it, and he was just an amazing guitar player. And we're all here to
You mean
go.
Kiss?
Yeah,
Kiss.
sure, of course. Yeah, big time. And they were the hugest thing in the world for some time. But anyways, Godspeed to Ace. He's definitely, he wasn't in all that much. Well, his family knew that because he fell down a couple times. In this once wasn't the first time wasn't that much of an issue, I guess. It was relatively an innocent fall, but then the second time, and I think they both occurred in the studio is how the story goes, and that was a little more serious. And I just got to wonder, like, it's after the fact, how much of this might have been related to the kill shots themselves. Like what caused the fall, like from a medical standpoint. Why did he lose his balance? So, but now, as far as sad to see someone go, it's not equally applicable in the case of Ian Watkins. Now, this guy, was it serial? Yeah, Ian Watkins. I guess he was a former frontman of some big rock group, some Prophets of one kind or another. I guess we should have added a few more, a little more in the way of description. Big in, I think it was the UK. They're a bigger, larger, better known UK act than anything else. We're going to try to zoom a little larger font here. Yeah. Okay, good. You guys can see everything there.
Killed in prison?
He's a serial pedophile. Yeah, that's KOS, kill on sight, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
here's the real kicker. Multiple 7 times South Wales, like the reports to the police, ignored. The police ignored the reports because of his rock star status. Ian Watkins, rock star, but he's a
like Jimmy Savile.
Yes, exactly. There you go. Okay, 250 legislators travel on Israeli propaganda tour, 50 states, 1 Israel. And we'll try not to get into too much detail here just to keep things moving along, but it's interesting to note the dates here apparently. And I had to hold ChatGPT to account, and I encourage everyone else out there listening, if you do play around with ChatGPT from time to time, to do this is what is really required. Don't take it on faith or face value. This age of AI duplicity that we live in. This is part of the great the end times deception. I would argue. It wasn't October. They said it was October. No, it wasn't October. Press ChatGPT on it once again. It's like, oh, well, yeah, it was September 14th to 18th. These 250 U.S. legislators, 50 states, 1 Israel propaganda tour. Kirk shot on the 10th. So I'm still not even sure if those are the right dates. So even if I wasn't.
September 10th is right for Charlie Kirk. And it was to preempt the exposure of Israel's role in the 9/11. That day, the greatest concentration of experts on 9/11 were meeting in Washington for a huge conference. And I believe they took out Charlie Kirk to preempt that, because all the world's attention went to the death of Charlie Kirk, and everyone ignored. Turning the Tide was the name of the conference. If you go to Morningstar Report on Substack, robertmorningstar.substack.com, I have a lengthy article with all of the lectures, because I work closely with them.
Okay.
Barbara Hahn and Richard Gage, all of them. So we have to get our attention back on that. And I guess, like the Brooklyn Dodgers, we have to wait till next year to really expose the dancing Israelis.
Well, something more I was going to add to that as far as
I've heard about the dancing Israelis.
of
Yeah.
course, it's well known now for some time. You got to look
Mossad
into it.
agents.
They're,
Mossad
yeah,
agents
they
were sent to film it.
yeah, they let the cat out of the bag. They went back home to Israel after the Department of Homeland Security, Michael Chertoff. You ever put him and Vladimir Lenin side by side? Dead ringers for one another. It's just how
Did
it
I
is.
ever tell you what his last name means in Russian?
Chertoff means devil.
Yes, indeed.
That what a lovely surname. So
I know.
I mean, and to it gives me all that much more confidence in knowing that he was the central force in having these backscatter X-ray machines,
Right.
scanning the devices put into the world's airports that have now in
Yeah.
many cases have been taken out because of the health
Terahertz.
risks. Yeah.
Do you know how that worked? The terahertz frequency would go right through the single molecule of water in your DNA and dissociate the oxygen from the hydrogen. So every molecule of DNA is bound to a single molecule of water. So when you walk through those terahertz scanning machines, you got zapped and your DNA was dissociated. The binding molecule was turned into gas, from water into gas.
For life?
Yeah, forever.
You're kidding. You're joking.
Each
Incredible.
one of your cells got zapped, right, with that
pure
terahertz.
evil, just pure evil. And then they come along with the kill shots. First of all, I mean the COVID the cure was far much more supposed cure far much more damaging and deadly than the problem itself in the first place. And that's what Trump talked about, saying we don't want to have it so that the cure is worse than the problem to begin with. But because maybe did he know something that we didn't, or at least he was thinking, or maybe somebody had warned him saying, hey, be careful. Be careful now. So, but anyways, okay, we got to keep things moving along. We can circle back, of course. Brandy Vaughn, I'm not sure if that's a name that means anything to anybody, but she was one of these, people, whistleblowers. She was an industry insider, and she stepped forward, and I guess she died under just one of many naturopaths and whistleblowers, bankers, scientists. This is a number of years, 2020, it says here, I guess. So we were in touch with one of her friends, actually, and she didn't want to go on the record. She didn't want to be interviewed, but she thanked us for this is like last year, for our outreach. And
a friend of mine just called me and sent me a link to Tucker Carlson's interview with the vice president of EcoHealth, who confessed on Tucker Carlson's program.
Just now?
Just this week, a couple of days ago.
Okay.
Yeah, EcoHealth. Peter Daszak.
Yeah.
He
was on his show.
Yeah,
Peter
the vice
Daszak?
President. Not Daszak.
Oh, the vice president.
Yeah,
well, he's turned. He wants to come clean, does he?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God!
And he said it was so devastating that Tucker Carlson said to him, I don't think I can go on. You just totally depressed me. So,
starting to feel the heat.
Yeah, he said explicitly that the CIA approached Peter Daszak, and Peter Daszak, there was the president of EcoHealth, and buddy with Anthony Fauci. And so Daszak went to this vice president. He said, the CIA just contacted me. What do you think? He said, well, it could be a lot of money in it. So I guess they had their black hand.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Right.
Oh, here's another curious little thing about Anthony Fauci, and this is something that the LGBTQ crowd doesn't want you to know. They had a way back in 80, I think it was 87, 88, when things were a little like basically, if you got HIV back then, it was pretty much almost like you were going to die. It was just a question of when.
Yeah.
And the LGBT crowd actually stormed the NIH. I think it was the NIH building in DC at the time. And I did not know this, although I'd heard some stuff about it. But apparently, the head of the program back then to treat, it was still called AIDS back then, but the guy who was like responsible for the medical manipulation of AIDS dealing with AIDS back then, that was Fauci. I
Yeah.
did not know that.
No,
And
that's
he
right.
prescribed AZT. He prescribed AZT.
The whole thing
That killed more people than anything else. That was
See?
he did
Yeah.
the same thing with remdesivir, declaring it was the only treatment for COVID, and that killed people in 10 days. It created an improvement for 8 days, and then in the 9th and 10th days, kidney failure. And he's a mass murderer, but that's in his family. You know, he comes from a Swiss family that owned a talcum powder business. They were mining a mountain in Switzerland for decades, and they destabilized the mountain. And just before, when they found out it was unstable, they split. They left Switzerland. The mountain collapsed and took out a whole town.
That was
the
the Fauci family.
Yeah, the Fauci family,
Well,
who has a very strange look.
And is he might actually, like, he's a Jesuit, and who knows how deep and dark that rabbit hole goes as far as his.
I don't think he's a Jesuit. He may have been Jesuit educated.
Oh no. What,
he's a priest? Fauci's a priest?
Look into his Jesuit. Okay, his education, training, and just how he's probably Knight of Malta. I wouldn't be surprised if he's Knight of Malta.
That's fine too, but a Jesuit is a priest. Fauci's not.
Okay, he's not a priest. He's okay.
And yours truly is also a Jesuit trained.
Oh, scientist. I know, and you take it very you're very sensitive.
Well, I don't paint such a broad brush, you know.
Okay, that's important to. I stand corrected. Yeah.
The other stain on my application is Irish Christian Brothers, whom I love and admire. But if I say Irish Christian Brothers in Ireland, I'll be lynched, man. They have a really bad reputation.
I would never contest or challenge the quality of education one receives under the Jesuits. Like you want a quality education? Go to get trained and educated by them. You end up probably doing quite well.
I mean, it was
yourself.
like, what the hell? Art Bell used to have this one Jesuit.
Malachi Martin.
Malachi Martin. God bless his soul, man. He was a great one. So that's the proof. Not all Jesuits.
We were just talking about this yesterday with Robert. You should tune in and listen to more of what Robert puts together via the Morning Star Report. Naroki, when can we hear your show, Robert?
Oh, Sundays at 3:00 Eastern on Studio A on Revolution Radio, and on Monday nights at 10:00, 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. on Studio B. It's really easy. Sunday A, Monday B, 3 on Sunday, 10 on Monday.
And I've been joining you.
And Jackie is part of co-host that comes in. Because of the time change, you can't be on time, so we're doing after shows and recording them.
And actually, when does that daylight? It's coming up quick here, isn't it?
Very soon. Very soon. It's this month.
I better look into it. I'll get caught flat-footed here once again.
It's usually in October.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh, so we better keep a keen eye to that. All right. Roger, do you want to? Well, Roger, go ahead. Feel free, jump in. But look, let me just try to bullet point things here. For King Charles stripping Prince Andrew of his royal titles. Okay, well, we could maybe Gaddafi's son returning to Libya. What else do we got here? Stabbing. There was a heist at the Louvre just recently. That was a big heist. If people want to talk.
Oh yeah, I heard.
Charlie
about
Kirk.
that.
Hang on a second. There. Flu shot for seniors. They're pushing it hard. They're pushing it heavy. You gotta get out and get those flu shots. Yeah, got it because you get flu shots. Because yeah, there's one thing, they're safe, dangerous, and ineffective. Autopsies reveal 90% of dead are full of parasites. Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah, I'm working with some scientists that brought that out last year. I'm going to tell you guys a
Blood
real
clotting.
secret. They don't think these parasites are of earthly origin.
Right. Or the dump truck that's racing by your apartment window.
Yeah, it's not a dump truck. It's a tractor trailer.
Okay, well, talk about spoiling. Buzzkill, man, spoiling the theater of the mind. It's a dump truck. It's a convoy. It's a fleet of dump trucks. So, yeah.
Question is why they like to go up 92nd Street when Broadway.
Yeah. Koreans held captive in Cambodia. We covered this, just touched on it briefly, I think, yesterday as well. It's human trafficking. It's brutal, man. It's a big, hot issue here in South Korea. And lurking behind it all, actually might be organized Chinese, probably like the triads or who knows exactly. CCP triads.
For years. North Korea was even kidnapping Canadians, high-level mathematics geniuses, to supplement their programs, their nuclear development programs. But they were kidnapping Japanese all over the place. Maybe they're still doing it. North Korea.
Okay, probably. But this is human trafficking out of Cambodia, where you have these criminal Korean, basically, kingpins based out of Cambodia. They're South Korean expats essentially, and they're crooked as all hell. They as soon as you show up for the job that you've been promised, it's a bait and switch. Grab your passport, and it's not really what you signed up for in the least. It's a horror show. It's, in fact, it's huge news here it's rocking the country right now, and will continue to do so for some time. So human trafficking to the hilt. It's thousands. The numbers just keep growing, and people being disappeared. Yeah. And people showing up, just ending up, dead, of course. And who knows? It's just utterly horrific. So, and corruption on all levels, leading to the highest echelons of Cambodian politics. And one has to almost wonder, will this to what extent will this boomerang back on the Korean government, if not simply from the standpoint of accountability, but also the fact that, like, they're not in bed, like, are they in any way implicated or involved? Like, let's hope not. So, but anyways, leave that aside for the moment. NASA's science on anomalous, there we go, object. It's true. It's true. According to ChatGPT, it's true. NASA, but what they say there is funding. It's because of the government shutdown. They're just not, they've had to, kind of cut back a little. And it's, we don't need to watch this huge anomaly out there all that closely. We don't have to.
They claimed that they were going to do maintenance. That was the latest excuse, that they shut it down because there was scheduled maintenance, right?
Scheduled. All right.
So if they schedule maintenance, they have the money to do the maintenance. If they have the money to maintenance, they have the money to run it. It's all bogus.
How about Russia? Here's a big one. Russia claiming that the U.S. is planning a 37 trillion crypto reset. Ka-ching. Yikes.
And I've been getting advice to buy gold and silver right now.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be out cold if you don't. Yeah,
but I bought it years ago, thank God. I don't know what we'd be doing if it hadn't been the case, So that paper money that people, that they think so much of, I don't know. And it's interesting to watch. I'm not sure how to break it down exactly from economic standpoint. It's almost like it seems to be an inverse and proportionate relationship, that the more that the value of the dollar sinks and is devalued because of endlessly printing more of the funny money kind of the funny money items that it entails, that the gold rises, right? Value of the dollar goes down, the gold's going to go up. It just seems to be a connection there for some reason. Elasticity, like an elastic. So, anyways, you need an economics major to break that one down in a more clear and confident manner. Speaking of confidence, non-confidence here potentially on the Canadian front, because do nothing Carney, he doesn't even talk a good game.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started about him.
Chili con carne.
Yeah, chili con carne. You know what that gives most people.
Well, I mean,
yes.
Or worse.
If I could be allowed to comment on Carney, yeah, C5, C2, C8, and C9.
Right.
It's basically doing the same thing that Justin Trudeau was attempting to do with a previous bill, whose name was C63. He just broke it up into different bills, but in like each one isn't as bad as the original, but combined they're even worse than the bill that Trudeau was attempting to get passed. And it's like, yeah, I have it's not the whole digital ID thing, what they're bringing in Australia, but it basically loads and cocks the gun to put that in place in Canada. Also today, and this just happened because it was the mayoral elections were held in Alberta today, and the individual who lied to, oh, you don't know who this is, but she used to run Yeg United, but they were actively opposed to bringing the concept of 15-minute cities. They chose Edmonton as the test case for 15-minute cities, at least for Canada.
Didn't you want us to do a show with them?
Alexa Pasta? Yeah, I did actually. I don't know whether I've kind of lost track of where she is. I could maybe contact. I know where she goes to school. I could maybe contact her and see if she can still do it. But I mean, yeah. This was one of the chief architects of trying to, and what was, from my understanding, what was basically going on is that they would start putting pressure on these various city leaders on the 15-minute cities, and they would back off. And then what would happen is that, 2 or 3 months afterwards, back when people weren't looking at them anymore, they would try to sneak some legislation in at the municipal level that would make it a lot easier for the 15-minute city concept to be introduced there. So it was almost like a constant, like you couldn't take it was like almost like what you do with an addict that's in active addiction, right? You literally could not take your eyes off of them, because the moment you took their eye, like with somebody who's like dedicated to using, right, they will just keep using no matter what. And it's like, if they're in that situation, you just have to walk away. But it was like every time they took their eyes off this group in Edmonton that was trying to bring this 15-minute city concept to Edmonton, they would sneak back in a couple months later, and they would try to pass some more legislation to try to make it possible for that to take place. And the guy who was one of the chief architects of it, Andrew Knack, got elected as mayor today.
Whoa.
So we elect the city of Edmonton elected the wokest motherfucker in the whole city to be mayor.
Wow. Sad to hear.
I would put him in the same category as Mom Donnie.
That sounds about right, what you're saying.
Mom Donnie. The only hope is if Curtis Lee withdraws, but he said yesterday he's not going to withdraw, but it's foolish. He's only got 16% of the vote. He could save the city by bailing out. Yeah, I think he may, to be honest with you. If he loves the city, he'll do it.
Shout out
well,
to.
it's I mean,
Let's give a few number of shout outs here. Shout out from South Korea, Zane Ivy. We see Sonia Galactic active over on Facebook Facebook, YouTube, and maybe it was Facebook. Either way, DK Spiracy, Just Rev is also popping up here on our radar. Are we able to, and thanks Just Rev, along with Svetlana and anyone else who's donated, whether this stream or streams past via DLive with the digital support. We've actually crunched the numbers down, and it helps to, it will help to provide more support to the upcoming Operation Secret Santa 2025. Interestingly, and so a couple $100 there, what we've managed to generate on DLive over the past number of years. It's not much, but it's I think appropriate for the work that we've done and the level that we've been operating at. It's one of the few platforms, it seems, that is really kind of delivering. So, thank you, DLive. Thank you to our supporters as well. So we're not quite able to see what's happening via DLive at right at this very particular moment, because we cannot access. Well, we're trying to access our channel here momentarily, but we have noticed that Just Rev he's been very generous with support, as a handful of others, including Svetlana. So, but okay. Now, were you going to finish up your point? Sorry about that. I just had to, because if we don't engage our listeners, they might, be led to believe that we don't care about them, or we're not keeping it. Thank you to our. We're not keeping a close enough eye on what they're up to there. So there we go. All right. Were you going to finish your point? Were you, Naroki, or?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I might. I'm not gonna be doing it. I probably will be. I got something to complete on a not the RPN live stream, but the live stream. If I do a show, if I do RPN, it will be tomorrow afternoon, my time.
Okay, all right.
And that might be a solo show, because I won't be able to. I mean, I'm trying to push the. Well, here's a really weird thing that happened to me, and it's gonna be, because we're talking about Facebook here. I had my Facebook account disabled, and I actually launched an appeal, and I actually got it back.
Yeah, we've been through that nonsense ourselves, unfortunately.
I actually got my channel back, which is like,
yeah, I lost my 10,000. I had 10,000 followers. I had 8,000 followers and and 8,000 followers and 9,000 friends, and they locked me up because I talked too much about COVID. I just want to mention I've contributed 3 links to the chat, in the chat. One is the Beatles, Amazing Beatles expose by Ali Damagard, and 2 films that we've just released: Cosmic Betrayal, Why They Murdered JFK, which is a movie I made 3 or 4 years ago, but it's only just been released, and it's free online. And the other one is called House Fitzgerald, which is a documentary about the sacrifice of John F. Kennedy, as in human sacrifice, that I did with the cousin of President John Kennedy, John Fitzgerald Kennedy. His cousin is Paul Fitzgerald, and we did an interview that I've turned into a documentary. So this is part of a series that I call The Ultimate Secrets of the JFK Assassination. So I hope you'll watch them and you'll share them with others.
Yeah.
Very important information.
Okay. Small world.
The Cosmic Betrayal deals with the importance of the UFO issue in the assassination, and then the actual assassination in Dealey Plaza, and the switching of the bodies, the brain of Officer Tippit for that of President Kennedy. It's comprehensive.
What do you think had more of a stake and ultimately proved more of a factor in Kennedy's killing? The UFO angle or Israel's nuclear ambitions that Kennedy was blocking?
The UFO angle. The UFO angle more than anything else, because it's proven by the documents that we've found. There's something called the burned memo, and this movie talks about it. It shows the burned memo, and that was it. On November 12th, 10 days before he died, he was exchanging information on UFOs with Nikita Khrushchev, because both of them were afraid that the UFOs were going to trigger accidental nuclear war.
That's right.
Yeah. So watch that. You'll get.
Yeah, because they were picking up on the radar. They were picking up. Well, you're the expert. You'd explain it a lot more clearly than
fleets of UFOs were coming in from outer space. They'd come in over
NORAD.
the North Pole.
Was it NORAD picking this up?
They would trip NORAD, but they'd also trip the Russians. The Russians would think that the United States had launched a first strike nuclear missile attack on them. And then, of course, what do you do when you're a crazy paranoid Soviet?
Yeah.
You're going to retaliate. So they would put them in that footing, and then they would do the same to us. And the Air Force gave them a special name for UFOs. Their code word was fast walkers.
Right.
The fast walkers would come over the North Pole. They'd trip the delayed early warning system and the BMEWS. That's a term you don't hear anymore, but BMEWS, Ballistic Missile Early Warning System. So they both get tripped, and Cheyenne Mountain, NORAD would go crazy, say the Russians are attacking us. So these UFOs would come in like nuclear warheads flying over Canada, freak out the American military and Canada. Then they do a dead stop right over Canada at the border or in the middle of Canada, and whoop, vertically straight up into outer space. They did the same thing to NATO in Europe. So that was a big problem. And Kennedy knew about the UFO issue since World War II. And this documentary that we're sharing, Cosmic Betrayal, starts with World War II and his experiences in Guadalcanal while he was a captain of a PT boat. So check it out. You'll get the real story there.
So this is freely available.
Didn't Kennedy's boat, PT boat, get shot down, and he had to he barely survived? He was in the ocean for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got cut in half. His boat got cut in half.
He broke his back.
Yeah, he got slammed and he fractured his back, and he was, he was weak.
And then they swam. He rescued how many? He did.
Well, he swam. He rescued 2 of his men died, and I think 9 survived. But he had to pull one guy, yanking him with his teeth. A line to the guy and his teeth, and he swam to an island that was about 3 miles away.
That's just.
Then they survived on a barren island. Then he had to go out every night, swim out with a flashlight, try to, hail a passing PT boat, but it never happened. They were finally found by a bunch of Aborigines that came to the island. So Kennedy cut a message on a coconut, they're saying that, Lieutenant Kennedy, we're alive, 9 survivors, gave it to the Aborigine, who gave it to an Australian coast watcher, and he gave it to the U.S. Navy, and that's how he was rescued. It became
just
incredible. A big part.
Oh my
legend.
God.
Yeah, Kennedy's struggles are part of.
Say again.
Kennedy. It was apparently some of Kennedy's personal struggles during World War II, which is one of the other reasons why he was not they thought he was so that there was going to be somebody that they could potentially control, and it turned out it couldn't be because Kennedy
Sure.
had actually, unlike say Bush Jr. or Obama, Kennedy had to actually go through some
Yeah,
real
yeah.
medical and harshness, and he
Mhm.
had to struggle. He had to struggle a little bit, whereas opposed to say someone like Obama
Mhm.
or Bush
Well, the other
Jr.
thing,
didn't.
Hiroki, the other thing is that John F. Kennedy suffered in war, was wounded, but he lost two men, and that weighed very heavily on him.
His
The
older
loss of
brother too.
And his brother was killed in World War II in an explosion of a B-17. But the loss of those men colored President Kennedy's view of war, and he was not ready to sacrifice American lives for nothing, for Vietnam, for global hegemony. He really felt it. That loss of those two men weighed very heavily on him, and he was trying to avoid the loss of the 57,000 men that we lost in Vietnam.
Versus the Chicken Hawks.
Yeah, the chicken hawks, exactly, who are ready to go to war with your kids, but not themselves, like Lindsey Graham.
Well, here was the thing. I mean, the Russians knew. I mean, speaking from the Russian side, this is the stuff that came out after the Cold War ended. The Russians were aware right from the very beginning that they would probably win in Western Europe if they had moved in. But all of the leadership of the USSR up until like the late 80s, where they were all former World War II vets that had gone through war and were not going to go through it again. So, I
Right.
mean,
Exactly so. Same thing. They lost 25 million people. Do you know who was in charge? The defeat of the Nazis in Russia was the Battle of Stalingrad. You know who was in control of Stalingrad? Who was the commissar? Because there was a military.
Khrushchev, I believe,
It was
wasn't it?
Khrushchev. It was Nikita Khrushchev. And Khrushchev said to Kennedy in Vienna when they met, he said, because Kennedy wanted to be friends, and he said, "How can I believe you when I look across the Berlin Wall and the German commander of the NATO troops on the other side of the wall is the general that I was fighting at Stalingrad?"
Yeah, Kennedy was feeling pretty good that was it the meeting with Khrushchev in geez. Now I'm not sure why we've lost our signal there, folks. If that's the end of the show, essentially, or what we're looking at, but it could very well be. Teams
Exactly
one.
what those weapons did.
Yeah.
Could you
Can
guys?
I tell you something?
Could you hear me
I think that
talking or not? Could you
I
hear me?
do hear
Because
you,
we
but I'm going to
lost. No, was I talking over people? Because I got kicked out, so maybe you couldn't hear me. Sorry, but we lost teams for about 20 seconds. But let me just quickly say, oh shit. Well, try to reconnect here yet again, I suppose. I'm not sure why. What were we talking about that may have been so
have
sensitive?
the capacity to deliver a nuclear weapon.
That was twice.
There we go.
That was twice.
Yeah.
Now
You're back.
if it's a third time, you will not be seeing or hearing from me again. But we do have. I thought the call had just ended because we ran out of time. But I was just gonna.
Still on.
The Kennedy was feeling pretty good. At least in one occasion where he met. Didn't he and Khrushchev meet twice? Or that was Nixon? Maybe I'm thinking of. So yeah, that was. Shit. All right, enough of that. Enough of that. This is enough of the team's shenanigans. Not sure why that is. Our internet connection is still holding fast, so that's great. Okay, now why might that be? This is really bizarre. Look, folks, we're gonna have to. Not sure if we lost our. why it is we lost the internet, if that's in fact the case. We lost our teams. And well, one of the reasons why we really, with greater public support and backing, we could make some pretty amazing things happen here, even more amazing than what we've already managed to produce over the past 10 years, if you can believe that. 10 years of putting these shows together. The news end of things, not quite 10 years. I think we were just mostly promoting and producing feature interviews, actually, until might have been Vinny from Brooklyn who got us going with the news, as memory serves. But we will be sure to add all of the guest speakers' contact information to the show description. As far as the archived version of the live stream is concerned, where you find things over on BitChute, Odyssey, and Rumble. And as to whether or not we are back again this Friday night, we got something we're working on here behind the scenes, but we're in no rush to necessarily make anything happen at this point. Like I said, we got plenty of archived content and material for people to go through. If you appreciate what we do, Pirate One Radio at protonmail.com is our PayPal email address. Via the show description end of what we have to offer, you can also find Patreon information. You can sign up for free via Patreon, just to keep an eye on things, essentially. No commitment required or necessary whatsoever. And we've got the digital love, always open to anything, either on the crypto or just different platforms, including, I think it's BitChute and Odyssey, 2 places. Although they keep changing too. They're always changing, shaking things up, and it gets a little confusing and a little tough to keep up on top of after a while. Mines, most definitely, yes. They've still got their Mines tokens in place. So that's another way of doing things. But passing word on to friends, family, co-workers, liking, commenting, sharing, remembering to hit notification, subscription buttons, really helps to give us that essential boost, that little independent live streaming underground digital pirate shows such as ourselves require. So if we're not here this Friday night with a feature show, fear not, you will, chances are, be hearing from us once again next week, when we reconnect with you here on the news front. Hope everyone got a little something out of what we put together here this go round. Enjoy the rest of what the week has to offer, and I'll catch up with you next time we meet out here via these high, often all too intrepid digital seas. On behalf of Captain Long John, Sinclair, and all the rest of the crew down in Skullport Harbor, I'm your host, as always, the Robin Hood's Chief Communications Officer, reminding you, as always, keep your ear to the ground and eyes to the Atlas. 3 eyes skies. Tally ho!